All right. Welcome. Haha. I have discovered that with this model, since I have not messed with the advanced blend shape tracking for this model yet, I don't blink. So I just stare at you now. I don't like it either. Yes. I need to get around to finishing, refitting the old outfit to this one as well, because, like, the hair is, there's two different hair modes. One that's, just a pale pink color, that kind of has, like, the shimmer to it like that, and then this one. And the whole idea of the pink one is that it's kind of like a disguise. Since, you know, both characters in this channel are rebels of sorts, just one's more illegal than the other. Actually, no. I think they're both equally illegal in the story sense. One's just more insane. I'll give you 1 second here. Alright, I was just making sure that the sound, the music wasn't too overpowering, but that you can still hear it. Anyway, also, the hand tracking for this is getting ridiculous. I've not bought a new one. The updates are just getting better. That's never been that good before. Alright, so, you may have seen the name of the stream. And the reason for that being, well, tis the Pride Month, you know, and with that being the case, you know, we were a part of, I wonder how do you finger your tracking? Carl. But, anyway, it is the Pride's month, and, how can I put this, well, we were part of the Prideathon charity event, thanks to Last Seahorse, and that went exceedingly well, far beyond any expectations that I had for how well that was gonna go. I owe you guys rewards still for passing the donation goals, and then passing the donation goals, and then passing the donation goals. So, 2 Jilly Maid streams. This doesn't count. This is kind of a whim thing. 2 Jelena Butler streams, and, oh, what is it? Alien Isolation. Alien Isolation. I have to play Alien Isolation on stream, which might be one of the Jilly Maid streams, and then one of the Jelena Butler streams. So we can kind of knock out 2 things there. And then the other 2 Maid and Butler streams will be VR chat, I think. Oh, perfect! Oh, I know exactly when we should do those. VCAT's coming up near the end of the month. Yes, there we go. VR convention time. I've only ever missed like streaming one of these, I think. And, no. I think I've missed 2. But one of them I just didn't go to at all. Another one I went to, just didn't stream. Hey, that's 100% fine, Carl. The V-Kids aren't always the most amazing, as we've kind of realized. The first V-Kid I ever went to, phenomenal. And there was a couple others that were really good, and then there were some serious duds after that. Okay, well, as we're getting into the conversation here, yeah, they have gone downhill. This one, the advertising for this one seems a bit better, so I'm a little hopeful that this might be a little better. Well, so one of the first V-Kids I went to, though, had, like, a lot of, like, sponsorship stuff at one point. Just not some of the bigger names. Well, no, that's not true. Marvel was there. But there was a lot of smaller things though. There were car booths where you can get in a virtual car and it just rides you around. No way does this actually help you understand how the car performs in real life or anything. It's just a thing you can do. It's like a roller coaster ride. Ultraman, I think was another one. Ghost in the Shell, Netflix. But then that one year they had that really cool Disney booth, and then that one is when it started rolling downhill. Real bad. Because I remember next year, they did have another Disney booth, but it was for nothing but a Disney credit card. And that was weird. You know, it's like, oh, all these people in this would have these virtual reality headsets, VR headsets, have a lot of money. So let's entice them with a credit card, I guess. Hey, Kiri. Yeah, Okaro. I didn't get to go to that one, but they did. Well, no, I didn't. But they did have like a quest version of it. But it was like straight up garbage. It was awful. Like it was just avatars, and they weren't good. Oh, it was awful. Ah, and Kiri, how you doing? Yeah. I was really wanting to go to the main one, but I didn't have a PC that could, like... Hey, my image flashed. What? Oh, yeah. You have a little, like, fan art display over there. Which is mainly just, like, some of it's just, you know, photo edits, and then that's, like, Ramaja playing one of the Mii games. And they just made me versions of all of us in Turbo Nerds. And then you can get Okaro Pops for $1. I think that was based off of an image that Ramaja drew, and then I made a poster for it. I've been doing alright. I've been doing okay. We raised over $20,000 for charity. Not just me though. Not just me though. Let me make that clear. That was me and like 40 other streamers that all teamed up at the same time and streamed on the same weekend, and that was the money we made, and that was for Trans Lifeline. Blowing things out of the water. I only expected to raise $100. I'll be real. And we raised almost $400, and that was fantastic, you know. And I was thinking about it, though, I'm like, well, 400 is not like a huge number, but at one point we wouldn't have been over the $20,000 mark, though, if that $374 wasn't there. So I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, it was great. Regardless, it was exactly how it should have been. If you want to know the grand total for it, it was $20,669.69. I feel like that was extremely intentional, and I don't blame them. Ooh, nice, man. Wait, Perfect Dark was on the Game Boy Color? I didn't know that. Now, okay, bit risky talking about the subject I want to talk about today, given the point of tension that is today's current world. But it's something that relates heavily to me as a person in real life, and it's something I've had disagreements with people about for a very long time, and it is tangentially related to why I ended up quitting my coaching job a few months back, and I'm working just an average job now as I try and figure out how I want to take what I know and learned and apply that to the community that I think needs the most help with that knowledge. So, we can go into that and how that plays in everything as we wind down on the subject itself. Feel free to chime in with thoughts, questions, things like that. You know, I understand a lot of people will probably have a lot to say about it, whether it be good or bad. Okay? And it's not something that I actually wanted to, yeah, Kiri, I kind of get what you mean. Yeah, it can get kind of crazy. I saw you popped in at one point not too long ago, but there was so much going on that I couldn't even, like I wanted to say hey, but I just couldn't because there was just so much going on. And that happens, and that's in the server. Like, the server's great. It's fun. There's a lot of people that are great and cool people, but sometimes it's just a little too much, and I get that. So if people can't or don't want to engage because of that, it's completely understandable. Though I know that you also do enjoy actually talking to some of the people in the server when you have the chance. Especially so rarely now because of the situation in your country. So, moving on to what I'm getting at here is understanding is definitely the biggest one, isn't it? But what I'm wanting to get at here with today's discussion is obviously the transgender people in sports part of the conversation is a very big point of tension in almost any sports community and most right-wing communities from there on. And from a very base perspective, and I mean a very base perspective, I get the argument and understand the concern. But as a person who knows people that go through what transgender people go through, to just be able to even remotely try to be accepted for who they are, it is not that simple. Why can't trans people be ballin'? Oh. Alright, so the discussion, the title of the stream, Patricio Manuel. Is a professional boxer, 3-0, 3 wins, 0 losses. Had a fantastic amateur boxing career. Oh, my finger. Had a fantastic boxing career, amateur boxing career, and decided to transition after their amateur career to a man. So after 4 years of gender-affirming care, Patricio Manuel debuted as a male boxer in the male pro boxing division under the Golden Boy Promotions boxing company. They were the only people that were willing to give Pat a chance. Pat lost his coach. Currently, I do not blink. The blend shapes are messed up on this version for some reason. The Jelena one blinks, but the blend shapes are constantly in a squint for some reason. But continuing on, Pat lost his coach, lost his sparring partners, several boxing friends, and left several gyms because of how he was treated. And eventually found a gym. I can't remember the name of the coach, but the coach has, from what I remember, he has very good accolades. I'd have to look it up. We might do that in a little while. And he told Pat, well, if you're a man, You're in this gym. You're just one of the guys, and it's as simple as that. And he's been in Pat's corner ever since, and that has allowed Pat to do amazing things, including, I believe, being sponsored by Nike at one point. Was sponsored by Everlast, one of the biggest brands in boxing, though their boxing gloves suck. At least their basic ones. And damn, this song's going hard. But I need to turn off that notification because that link doesn't work anymore. 1 second. Oh, the reason why there's no workout redeems, I hurt my ankle, and so I probably shouldn't be doing too much on my foot. Really, I can walk at work, and that's probably about it right now. Let me turn off that constant command. There we go. That should stop that. Alright. Now, one thing that I've been told a lot. Well, not even told. Oh, thanks, Okaro. All cool VTubers don't blink against the new trends, so you can stare directly into their souls. Yes, let me connect to you. Anyway, as I was saying, because I know I've said as I was saying multiple times, so I keep getting off track. How can I put this? How can I put it? How can I put this? Okay. Something I've been told several times, and not even told, sometimes it's just an opinion shouted at me, even when they don't know my opinion on the subject, which is weird, is that, it's the whole a man, a biological man, competing in women's sports, and brain work. Again, I said, I understand, the base concern, but if you actually understood what goes on when someone transitions, it's so much more complicated than just, the biology is different. And especially in boxing. In most combat sports specifically, most damage dealt by a person isn't by their muscles alone. In MMA, there's different fighting styles mixed in, so that could be variable as well, but most people are just built different anyway. But with boxing specifically, we're going to get into, the way a punch works has almost nothing to do with your muscular structure or how strong you are. Let that be clear and let that be known now. Boxers, sure, they do lift weights, but not a lot. And the reason why they lift weights is mainly to get their muscles in shape to move their arms faster, not stronger. Because the faster you can deliver your punch, as long as it's a perfect thrown punch, it's going to be strong anyway. And that's because punching power is dictated by how much someone weighs, not how much they lift weights. So I weigh about 250, 245 now. So I can roughly throw, I can be strong with no workout. Sweet. Factually correct to a degree. Now I'm not saying you can lift the world on your shoulders, but you can be completely out of shape, weigh 400 pounds, and be able to throw a punch that can knock a person out in a single punch. I'm not even joking. Because if someone were to take a 10-pound weight and slap you across the face with it, it probably wouldn't feel very nice now, would it? So imagine me trying to throw my whole 250 pounds behind a single punch. Let's see. 220. That's 220 pounds. You would be a super heavyweight, and you can hit pretty hard. Now, the main difference is how long you can fight for, how conditioned your muscles are to be able to throw your punches for long periods of time, and how good your cardio is, which kind of goes into the first one, but you get the idea. So that's how weight classes in boxing work. That's why there's weight classes. That's why someone who is 220 pounds can't fight someone who's 120 pounds. You know, because that person is on a very uneven playing field when it comes to punching power at that point. That being said, someone who can throw 120 pounds of force perfectly can still hurt a person who's 220 pounds. It's just the 220 pound person doesn't have to work as hard to deliver more than that much more amount of force. That's the difference. That's why there's weight classes. So, if you took 120 pound, and we're just going to go with the binary terms, woman versus a 120 pound man, they literally can only throw 120 pounds between each other. That's it. And so wait, oh, wait, 220. Oh, you're 120. Oh, okay. 264. Okay, I read that wrong. Okay, no, I read that right. I think. Never mind. There was mistakes were made. Anyway, now that isn't to say that the difference between the biggest difference would be, I suppose, would be is if like a man were to beat his wife. Between the two of them, that wife, on average, isn't going to be a martial combatant like a boxer. So at that point, to a degree, I'm sure a lot of people enjoy that. Okay. So to that degree, I could see the worry of overwhelming force in such a short period of time. But when you bring things to the level of boxing, where there is a specific set of rules and a way that you fight, both people are kind of set to an even playing field. You know, so and I've talked to so many coaches that act like that is not the case and that is not true, even though they constantly preach that how much you weigh dictates how much you can throw. And they completely ignore that when they talk about this point because they know it proves them wrong, even though it's a fundamental key and component to what they teach their fighters to do. And that's stupid. It's ignorant, it's stupid, it's dumb. And I know that my argument is just, that's dumb and stupid, but that's just what it is, because it makes no sense. I have trained in boxing for 10 years. 10 years experience in boxing. That is a lot. You know, there's people here in the city that have done it for way longer than me, and I understand that, and I respect them for that. But that is one of the first things you learn about how to throw a punch, is that your weight determines how hard it is, and how you throw your punch determines how much weight you can throw behind it. And all that is determined by physics and weight, not sheer strength. Were there ever cases where a man won a boxing match without throwing a punch? I mean, Actually, yes. Yes, there is. I can't remember the boxer, but the two boxers got into the ring, and the match starts, and the boxer in the opposing corner just goes, you know what, never mind, and left. Got out the ring and walked out. Like, that was the most confusing thing I've ever seen in my life. Alright, so, anyway, Patricio Manuel. Former woman, now is trans man. Completely threw away any prospect of possibly becoming genuinely one of the best female boxers that probably could have existed in our current times, to be who they truly are and who they want to be in life, because that's how much it meant to them. And then comes back years later, honestly, a little on the older side for a boxer, to push, your standard gender norms. So, with that, let me show you something. We're gonna go down the Patricio Manuel rabbit hole here. Let's bring you guys over to Browser Adventures. There we are. Let me get out of the way here. Oh, so you mean someone who, like, just genuinely just falls from exhaustion without having to do anything? That would probably be harder to come by, I feel. Alright, welcome to Browser Adventures, everybody. We have Burger, if you want Burger. Alright, so let's bring up Google here. There we are, yes. And let's move on over to here. Actually, wait. Oh, hey, that's one of the songs I used in my little, okay. This is Patricio Manuel. We will react to this individual. Which, by the way, I just realized something. Oh, no. I've had that open this whole time. There we go. How long has the burger been sitting there? We don't talk about that. You just let it be. If you decide you want to eat it, that's your choice. I didn't say you should. I'm just saying we have burger. So we're going to react to Patricio Manuel. And this is when when he was sponsored by Everlast, which was a good 3 years ago.
I think identity, when we boil it down, it's who we are, but it's also how the world perceives us.
Now, I want you to take so that's why nobody eats the burger. I want you to take a look at Patricio here. You unless you were told, you would never know. They whine and cry about aesthetics so much, but that is just a man.
You know, when I was a little kid, I always thought of myself as a boy. But you learn really early on that someone like me is immediately going to be told they're a girl. So I learned to be quiet. I learned to stifle that part of me. But the thing is, about anything that you push down long enough, it will have a bad reaction. And that reaction for me was I completely disconnected from myself. I just mentally checked out so that I could continue coping through life.
That's what a lot of us do, isn't it? That describes so many of us on a very fundamental level. And I think a lot of the anger involved when it comes to trans people or just LGBTQ plus people in general existing in life is that there's so many people that I just think hate the fact that they can't be who they are because of the society around them. And that's not even saying that, like, that even, like, most right-wing people are gay or are secretly a part of the LGBTQ plus community at all. No, not even saying that. It's just that I think partially, because, I mean, there's a lot of hate involved as well. But I think deep down, to a certain extent, they're just upset that people can just be who they are, and then that's just the end of it. Whereas their experience in life, them doing anything even remotely outside what their loved ones or family members tell them, was probably pushed back on, and that has to be horrible. And that's the whole point of someone just trying to live their life, and be who they truly are.
And it was.
By the way, I have no. This is something I decided to do on a whim, by the way, today, and I very much lack a nuance to this. I'm no professional when it comes to, like, analyzing gender issues or political views and things like that. I just have opinions, and this is something, since it's related to boxing, and that's something I've been a part of for a very long time, I feel I have at least enough of an understanding of the situation to actually speak on this. But we're watching this to try and give ourselves context and try to understand Pat as a person.
Boxing that brought me back into my body, and it was boxing that allowed me to be proud of actually what I was physically able to do. But boxing also taught me to really be introspective and be like, okay, what do I really want? And how am I gonna have to work for it? Because unfortunately, when you
Oh, Carl, fuck you, I'm not bald! Fucking stop what's spreading lies.
Deviate from the norms that society has constructed, you have to fight for that identity, and you have to really make it yourself. I think a lot of people in boxing who I talk to, they would come to me and say, you could have been, one of the greatest female world champions. They're like, you would throw it all away to be yourself. And I tell them that's how bad I felt living that lie. If it meant that much to me to risk the love of my life, boxing, then they knew that it was something that was valid. No one just throws away a possible chance at going to the Olympics or being a world champion because this is something that they're half in about. This is.
And see, like, that statement of, you could have had the world, but you would throw it all away for this. And Pat's response is, yes, because that's how much I hated how things were. And then when you have that mentality at that point, how long until you just can't take it anymore? You just can't handle it anymore. Something like that beats down on you. Like, Pat could have avoided all of the controversy and probably led a less chaotic and quieter life if he had stayed who everyone would say that he was. But he chose the harder route because that's true to who he was, because he knew it would be hard. What am I trying to get at here? He knew it would be hard and did it anyways because it mattered that much. And why does my hair shimmer like this? It's actually kind of like a digital, like, kind of effect, like the polygons lift off. That's kind of the aesthetic.
This is something that it's gonna hurt. Living in your truth is going to hurt, but
right there, that's exactly, yeah.
It's worth it.
This here was Pat's first match in 2018. We'll go over some of the matches in a minute.
My pro debut was at the Fantasy Springs Casino in Indio, California. There's so many people that have said that it's impossible for someone like me, a trans man, to be able to compete against a non-trans man and win, and I proved them all wrong that night. I walked out of that fight with my first victory, and it was a victory greater than just having my successful pro debut, I think that it challenged a lot of people's assumptions about what people like me are able to do. And hearing my name called and hearing my crowd and then us being brought to the center, the adrenaline rush of it was the most incredible experience I've ever had in my life. I want to live in a world where being yourself isn't seen as this courageous act. I want all of us to be who we are and to be unafraid and not to have to deal with every obstacle just to be our true authentic self. And I think that's something that's universal across the board and around the world, regardless of your race, ethnicity, class background. So many of us are being forced into these restrictive boxes of identification, but very few of us actually fit. And I want to see all of us be celebrated when we fight against those specific restrictive norms. My name is Patricio Manuel. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I'm the first professional male boxer who is transgender. I may be the first, but I'm not the last.
Okay, so powerful stuff, right? What to even say at that point? Oh. But yes. So Patricio Manuel, very inspirational. That feels very inspirational. It nails a lot of the points that I'm trying to make. It's just that, like, the point that Patricio, that Pat brings up that I really liked is that he wants to live in a world where just being who you are, whether it be trans, gay, straight, bi, non-binary, isn't a big deal. That there is a world that's ideal to me. And the reason why I say that, like, let's see. Yeah, okay, we're gonna take the cyberpunk round of this real quick. Cyberpunk is a dystopian hellscape, because mega capitalism, pretty much. But when it comes to people and who they are and their identities and who they wish to be, all of that in that game is in the in-universe of the game itself is not a big deal. Now the fact that things like that exist in the game as a game in our reality, people make a big deal, which it's good that there's inclusion in that. But what I'm getting at is that when you create something and you take something that is constantly stigmatized and dehumanized in our reality, and you make it the norm in what you're creating, and to the point where it's not a big deal, it's just the thing that happens. That's ideal. That's we're at the point of progress where things are normalized properly at that point. Well, I just worry about Shakira just in case. I know there's a lot going on there. And I know that you have to go through certain means to even engage with certain media now. But how can I put this? Pat is a pioneer in what he's doing, and the reason why that's the case is because of how not accepted it is. What the fuck was that just now? That was a car revving. Okay. Anyway. I mean, fair. Twitter is a hellscape. You're very much right about that. Anyway, moving on again, like Pat's a pioneer because it's something that isn't accepted, whereas in the ideal world, no one would give a fuck anyways. Like, I've not come out to most people that are blood related to me because they suck. That's very much the only way to put it. They suck. I'm bi and non-binary, which they would not be able to quantify those two existing at the same time, but they're two completely different related concepts in and of each other, so that's why that actually isn't a contradictory statement. Anyway. And I think I've told my sister that I'm bi, but I don't even know where to begin with non-binary with anybody that is related to me by any means. And goodness, how great of a world would it be for me to be able to do that? Like, just be able to be like, hey, you know, not even have to do that. Like, that's just like, into who I am. Hey, how's it going? I'm over here, existing. Living my life as a person does. I just have a different label than what you expect. That's the whole thing. I literally don't care what pronouns you call me. It's fine. It's whatever. It's cool. I'm happy with that. It's fine. Yeah, it's whatever. Yep, we're great. But no. I have to live my life very much being like, yeah, well, I guess they'll find out at the wedding. You know, if I were to actually have a partner and get married, you know, be like, well, I guess I'll invite them to the. They'll find out if I get married. I guess, I don't know. Because I have no real desire for them to be involved in anything of my personal life that involves anything like that, because I know how much trouble it would cause me, the person I would care about, and just, oh god, it's that much of a headache. You know, and there's certain things that I am working towards now personally when it concerns my own personal image that is very hard to do, especially when you don't really know how to approach it with people who claim to care about you, when this one thing can really be an issue for them when it really shouldn't be. Anyway, Patricio Manuel has fought 3 biological or assigned male at birth cisgendered men, non-trans men, if it were, and has won 3 times in a row. And the first time Pat won, it was probably a discussion for like a day. The second time Pat won, it was probably a discussion for a week. This time when Pat won, oh, now there's a problem. Because now it's starting to get attention. You know, and I saw a video. I was going to actually react to that on here when I decided I was going to do this today, but I decided, you know what? No, let's not give him any more attention. I would just bring up here what the man was talking about, and more or less, he believes that these guys are either, and again, this goes to show how they don't actually fucking care about their argument. His argument is basically that, well, these guys are either, oh, they're not really men, are they? If they lost to, quote-unquote, a woman, or they're being paid off to lose. Now, in all fairness, not the first time something sketchy would have happened where someone was paid off for something like that. But of course that's what they're going to go to, because what other explanation do they have? Their argument of a biological woman or female can't not beat a biological man goes out the window as soon as you point at Pat. They have to find a way to discredit it now, because all their bullshit is for nothing. And let's be real, all their bullshit is for nothing. So they either need to make an excuse or they're wrong. And like I said, the way punching power is determined is by weight class, not how strong you are, not whether or not you're biologically a man or a woman, but by how much you weigh and your ability to generate that force using literally physics. You know, boxing to a degree is an actual science when it comes to how you generate your punching force. And those who have been great in history at boxing are those who mastered aspects of it. You know, and then that's kind of how you get to modern boxing today, where we've taken each aspect of these different boxers that have mastered certain parts of that science, and we start compiling it together to how kind of most modern boxers kind of fight and interact today. You know, you get a cohesive vision of what fighters should do. Now, a person's temperament, their body, and their aggressiveness can determine the difference in their style, because no boxer, in all honesty, is the perfect boxer, and no one can perfectly emulate every aspect of every boxer that's ever existed perfectly. It's just never going to happen. Now, it isn't to say that there aren't some really exceptional boxers like Floyd Mayweather. I don't like him as a person all that much, but he is a great boxer. I can never deny this. He knows what he's doing when it comes to boxing. There was one time I saw Mayweather like really rocked. He got hit so hard and he was about to fall. You could see his knees shake, but instead of falling, he was close enough to his opponent to actually clinch onto him, literally to keep himself standing up. And that gave him roughly 5 seconds to clear his head, get his legs straight, and then fought defensively until the end of the round, which I think was only another 30 seconds or so. And then came back and beat the shit out of the guy the next round, because he knew what he needed to do at that point. Because that didn't look good. You know, so even the greats get touched. But it's also, you know, it's very much the adage of, it's not getting hit. It's not getting hit, but it's what you do after that counts. And that's kind of what he does. You know, he knows how to react to getting punched. Yeah, see, like, he's a very smart boxer. He's very, and to a degree, like, in other aspects, he's a very intelligent individual. It's just that he's kind of shitty towards women and kind of a dick sometimes, well, most of the time. Would you be upset if I say I stare at your chest gem a lot? My eyes are up here. Wait, no, here? There we go. It is cool, though. I'm actually very proud of this, the design there. I don't think I've actually shown off the full new version of the bodysuit since I made it. I've always worn the jacket, so I should probably show that off at some point. When I've not made any animations to be able to do that so far, though. But anyways, your eyes don't blink. I'm scared of the. Yeah, I need to fix it. In order to do it, I need to go in and actually add new blend shapes to the face. But as I was saying, you know, that's how boxing works. That's how the power works in boxing. You know, and so saying that it's an impossibility doesn't make sense if you genuinely believe in the science that is boxing. And again, any person I've had this discussion with will literally ignore the very first thing they teach their boxers just because it doesn't serve their point properly. And it's very frustrating, very upsetting. And I've hated having to talk about, argue, and defend the point. And I literally get looks of frustration when I bring up, you know, it's about weight, not strength. You know, but they're like, but they're fighting a man, though. You know, and it's like, by the sheer logic of how this sport works, that argument doesn't hold up, and you know it. So now, let's take a look. See here, we're gonna do some. This video is a bit cringe, so we're not gonna watch that one. It's a positive video, but it's poor audio, and a little overly cringy when it comes to the hopeful aspect of it. But yes, Pat's awesome. That's pretty much the point of it. This is Pat's first fight against Hugo Aguilar. Now, in all fairness, and this has been brought up. Oh, look at DMs for a second. I need an answer. Okay, I brought up the DM earlier when you sent it, but I didn't see the sentence you typed above it. Oh my god. It does. I hate that you're right. Oh my goodness. For those who need to know what he's talking about, he's saying my face looks like that. Jesus. Okay, so Hugo Aguilar, Pat's first pro opponent. I've seen this brought up a few times. And again, this was promoted by Golden Boy Boxing, which is a reputable boxing promotion company. And this was brought up that Hugo Aguilar isn't exactly the greatest boxer. And they're not wrong. Hugo Aguilar has 8 losses, 1 win. That win was November of 2019. His fight against Patricio Manuel was pretty much a year before that, almost exactly. And, you know, I'll be real. Patricio Manuel went into this fight as the underdog. Let's be 100% real. Even though this guy had, I think, 7 losses. No. Wait, no. It wouldn't be 7 losses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5 losses when he fought Patricio. He has 8 losses now. So 5 losses, 1 win, I believe. Which, yeah, his first win was his last fight. So he had 0 wins, 5 losses. Not the greatest record at all. It's not good. Let's be real. It's not a good record. But there's also worse records, and it looks like Aguilar pretty much fought people who had either only 2 or 3 fights. His first opponent had 2 fights. His second opponent had 3 fights. If I was his coach, I would have advised against these. To an extent. Maybe a 1 fight. Maybe a 2 fight. 0 fights is ideal when you're getting in, if you can get an opponent that also hasn't fought before. But that also doesn't get you much prestige either. So fighting someone who has at least 1 win or 2 wins on the better side. Wait, let's see here. Jesus Christ! Oh, that guy's a world champion now. Or was a world champion? Wait. Yeah, see, this guy here had a string of losses. And well, he didn't have a string of losses. He has a few losses here and there. Now he's lost several of his more recent fights, which were in 2015. Wait, when did Hugo Aguilar fight him? Let's look at Hugo's record here. In 2009, okay. Makes sense that his winning record would start dropping off as he got older. And so, yeah, here we are, Hugo Aguilar. So, I mean, Hugo hasn't exactly fought, the hardest opponents in the world. At least as far as he could perceive them to be as he takes the fights. You know, and then you get to Pat here. I guarantee you this was viewed as a guaranteed win because Pat had 0 fights. You know, and it was their debut. And on top of that, I think Pat was older, I believe. Let's see. Oh, Hugo doesn't have his, he didn't have his age shown on BoxRec. So he probably saw that as going to be a layup right there to kind of, you know, to get a win, because he's never had a win in the whole 10 years he'd been boxing at that point, you know. And then we get here and here, and then of course he wins in November of 2019 against a guy who has a way worse record. Like look, like. Oh, God damn it! 1 second. Let me log into this website real quick. All right. Back to Brothers Revenges. Here we are. Okay. So, this dude has a way worse record than Hugo Aguilar. And so, I mean, this guy, oof. You know, and so one of the arguments is that these guys got paid off to take a fall for Pat to push, I guess, the trans narrative, I guess is what they're hinting at. I'll be real. I think Hugo Aguilar just isn't a good boxer. If he can't beat a single person who's had a single fight, and he's had 9 throughout 10 years of his life, and he can only beat a person who's had 31 losses and only 17 wins, he's lost almost double the amount that he's won. So his record's basically the same as Hugo's almost. You know, I just think that Hugo just ain't that great, you know, and so he took the fight with Pat probably thinking it would change his fortune, and it just did not. You know, and look at this though. He fought in 2009 on his debut, and then didn't fight again for almost 10 years. You can't, like, as a boxer, to stay relevant, you have to keep training and stay consistent if you really want to do something. Would it be sweet to gather up and play a game? Do many of the tournaments have Don't Starve together? I know that I do. I think Okaro does. I don't know if Jade does. That is a question I'll pose to them when I get a chance. I work a night shift, so usually later, like right now is when I'm kind of available to do stuff like that to a degree, and then super late at night for me as well if I'm not working. So like Saturday, Sunday, which might change just to Friday, Saturday soon, where I have my days off. Anyway, so I would just say that Hugo Aguilar just actually isn't that good a boxer. I'll be real. Like, he couldn't beat people who have 1 or 2 fights. He can only beat a person who's had like almost 50 fights but have lost most of them. And so the whole argument of like the guy was paid to lose. No, I think the guy was just bad and was hoping that Pat would be a layup, and he wasn't. And then let's move on to so let's take a look at that match real quick.
Pat Manuel, 129 pounder. And Yin Win, who's 1-1 from St. Louis.
Woo! Did you see that? So this is actually not even the right fight. This is when Yun, I think. This is Hugo right here.
All of them throughout tonight, and also questions for our experts JoJo and Randy here at ringside. Here we go.
Now I've watched this before. I've watched this before, and I can tell you right now, Hugo don't do good.
In the super featherweight division.
He's very front-footed. And the reason why being front-footed isn't good, especially with how he's trying to defend himself, is that he can't drive any power off his back foot to throw a good right hand.
On Golden Boy fight night.
Yeah, see, like that was a huge risk. He could have got hurt if he'd missed that real bad.
The final fight night of 2018.
And yes, this is going to be a bit like a bit analyzing because I am a coach. Now see, Pat right there, gauging his distance with his jab, like a boxer should. See, tap, tap. And then Pat sets up a right hand, but Hugo moves just out of the way in time.
Stop!
And that was a good shot to Pat. Like, that didn't, I guarantee you that didn't feel good. That had to hurt. But Pat moves on.
I'd ask Patricio in the locker room that, you know, after a long layoff, not being able to fight, do you think you're going to have that ring rust? And he said no, that he feels that he's...
Ooh, you can hear how that sounds. Now, keep in mind, both people here weigh about 120 pounds. This, and Hugo is, I think, 1.5, and Pat is, no, not 1.5, 5'1". He's not 1 foot tall and 1 inch. He's 5 foot tall and 1 inch. And Pat is 5 foot tall, 6 inches. And the thing is that, like, I personally feel like the benefit to Pat here, if anything else, is that it's probably hard for some, I guess, biological, we're going to say biological man, because there's only so many terms that I can wrestle with to keep this together. That some of them just aren't that short and that light, and if they are that short, they may not always be that light by default. He probably had to cut a decent amount of weight to be able to take this fight with Pat. You know, but even then, though, that's not even to say that Pat couldn't be heavier at his height. You know, so even then, that excuse doesn't exactly hold up either. You know, so they both weigh about 120 pounds each. At most 100, I think it's 125 to 130 pounds, I think is more accurate. And so they can only throw about 125 pounds or so between each other. That's just the physics of how this works.
Go and give it all he...
You know, all it is there is basically like you do ab work to build up your abs so you have more armor around your body, so when you get punched there, it doesn't hurt as much. It's still gonna hurt.
Yes.
And it looks like Hugo just don't have that. Pat looks ripped as fuck.
Yeah, Patricio, I grew up with him in the amateurs, and he was always a hard worker. He always trained very hard. He has great amateur background. He has great...
By the way, credits to the announcers for taking the effort to properly gender Pat, even when talking about his amateur record. That's great.
experience. So I don't think that layoff is going to
Like literally acting as if like it's fine,
affect him at
it's
all,
normal,
because he is a boxer.
and it is. It just is.
In his whole life, and he's a very skilled fighter at that. So I'm excited to see him do his thing tonight.
Patricio in the black and orange.
Ooh, oh, so Hugo overcommitted with that fucking hook, and missed and paid for it.
Excited to see him do his thing tonight.
Patricio in the black
Boom,
and
boom.
orange trunks. And he did say this, and Hugo echoed these comments. He said, "Listen,
Now see, if I was Pat, I wouldn't have thrown that punch, and the reason why,
trunks." And he did say this, and Hugo
Pat sets it up with the jab, but then waits too long to even try, and then throws it too looping, in my opinion. I would have preferred to have thrown that straight. But I guess Pat's trying to get around his solid guard here. But Pat also drops his hand real bad right here. That's a no-go. So the only issues I've had with what Pat's doing here isn't anything to do with a lot of his skill. It's more polish. Like, this is dangerous because your hand's down here. This is a little dangerous because if you miss this, you could end up very exposed because your hand would loop over here and your head would be exposed right there. But Pat lands this to a degree, but Hugo mostly blocks this. See, it's clear on the gloves.
he said, "Listen, when we get in."
Yeah, but then Hugo counters with
And he did say this,
a hook
and
to the
Hugo
body
echoed
after
these
that.
comments. He said, "Listen,
Boom, right there. But it hit mostly Pat's elbow. We're only going to watch the first round because I think that probably gives us the best indication of how this is going to go anyway.
The fight. I don't want to worry about making a statement. I don't worry about who am I a symbol for. I want to worry about being a boxer, which is what I love to do, which is why I've taken this journey and gone through all the ups and the downs because I love to box. Good shot there, Patricio.
One thing that was interesting when I had
And see, I
asked Patricio.
I have watched this fight and I've heard this commentary. It was like a year ago when I watched this. But Hugo here also did not know Pat was trans until the day before the fight. And so I think Hugo's words that he respects Pat for, challenging himself in this way, and that he's going to treat him as any other guy that steps into the ring. But I also think Hugo probably thought this was going to be easier than what it actually is, because I think he's getting a little mad here. And I don't even think it's because that Patricio is trans. I think it's just because he's doing poorly against a person who's never fought in the professionals before.
If at any point in time after the long journey that you took,
Because the reason why I say he's getting mad is how aggressive he gets here.
one thing that was interesting when I had asked Patricio if
But now he's... Oh, look at that, though. Look at that. Look at that. That's not... Like, this isn't... That wasn't the reaction of a person that's getting paid to lose this fight.
one thing that was interesting
Let
when I had
me
asked
describe you here what this is. He got hit really good a few times.
one thing that was interesting when I had asked Patricio.
Pat does a feint right here, and Hugo has seen that setup a few times now. Pat will usually double jab and then follow it with that looping right hand. So he thinks that right hand's coming, so he sticks his hand out to keep Pat away and kind of backs off. He's actually nervous. See? Like, that was like, oh shit, a no shit moment. He was literally building space between him and Pat so that right hand couldn't land.
If
But then he does it again. That's a poor way to defend that. Because look, his body is at a weird position. He can't throw a 2 off of that at all. He's almost turned around running. And I don't even mean to say that he's running at all. It's just like, look, his back is almost facing the other direction. The only reason why the ref probably doesn't stop to correct the situation is because he's still looking at Pat. In the amateurs, a referee would be close to maybe calling a fight because he thinks this person isn't prepared to fight.
at any point in time after the
Like, look how much he ran, like how much space he created at that point just from 2 jabs. Like, he knew that right hand was coming. So Pat, look, by the way, you can barely fucking see the punch. Pat threw that quick.
one thing that was interesting when I had asked Patricio if at any point in time after the
Whoosh! Fucking anime moment right there. Holy shit. But see, Pat still was setting up that punch. This was the punch Pat wanted. Like I said, I don't think this is a good idea. This is too looping of a punch. But at the same time, though, Hugo isn't liking it either. He don't want to get hit by it. Let's see. What was at best, I could do some defense moves by instinct. My father has a black belt in karate, but I was rarely interested in fighting. I get that. But even then, as just human beings, when we try and defend ourselves, even if we don't have fighting experience, one of our first things to do is to put our hands in the way of whatever's coming at us. You know, because that our hands are the only way to defend our faces and our body. You know, and so some people will do stuff like this where they keep reaching for their opponent's hands to try and stop them, or they'll cover up to protect themselves. And that's kind of what this is here, but that's also a part of boxing. You would want to cover up if this punch was coming at you. You know, if someone pulls a knife on you and they try and stab you, you know, your instinct's going to be to go, ah! You put your hands between you and the threat. Because it's better to be stabbed in the hand than it is to be stabbed here in your body. That's our base human instincts there. Or not even base human instincts. That's just base instincts in general, to be honest. Most animals would do something similar.
long journey that you took, did you ever feel of
Oh, let's look at this exchange. Let's look at this exchange.
Did you
So
ever
Hugo's trying to rope-a-dope here.
of
Well, look, he misses that. He messes that first one up.
Did you ever
And Pat saw it. Oh, he hit him in the shoulder though. I thought he hit him in the face.
of a day?
Okay, that glanced off the back of his head. A bit dangerous.
Like, you know what,
Pat blocked that and is coming up.
and he had said no, that all this is gonna pay off at the end.
Oh, what happened to the quality of the video? Shit, is my stream going down? No, it's fine.
He had said no, that all this is.
Oh, that's just the video.
End.
Oh, Jesus! I can't see clearly what happened, but that didn't look good.
Men trading big time blows near the ropes.
Yeah, like I guarantee you, by the way, even though some of those didn't land on the head, I guarantee you a lot of that did not feel good. This here, what Pat's doing here, I don't like this. Stepping with your heel like that, not a good idea for the most part, because you're planting all your weight into the ground. If you were to get hit as you're moving like this, you'd probably fall. But, and I'm willing to bet Pat's trying to bring a looping right hand again with this. Oh no, okay, he was trying to roll. But, see, he still planted his heel down, though. Planting your heel down is so dangerous.
To this historic debut by
But now it was that right hand, wasn't it?
2 minutes into this historic debut by
Turned his head a little bit on that one.
here on
I think that hurt Pat's hand.
Illinois Fight Live on Facebook. Watch as we continue to change how we
Alright, small body shot.
to you. We want you
And actually, no, Hugo looks to be in pretty decent shape, to be real.
big part
I think Hugo's biggest problem, for real, is that he's kind of leaning forward real bad.
of the broadcast, completely interactive
Ooh!
to you. We want you to be a big part of the broadcast, completely interactive.
Oh, he got hit in the shoulder. Okay, never mind.
In between rounds, we'll send it up to Nats.
That was a punch to the face.
All of you watching on Facebook Watch.
Okay, Hugo, that was dangerous. Hugo shouldn't have done that.
Hugo has an advantage is he's been in the pros. He has.
Ooh! Oh! Ooh, got touched up. And now, I'll be fair here though. Even though like Hugo hasn't done like a lot of offense to a degree that has landed on Pat, not a lot of punches between the two of them, in my opinion, have landed solidly so far. Maybe like one or two, maybe three from Pat so far. And this is just me at a glance though. I'm no professional at this to a certain extent. I do know what I'm looking at because I've trained people before. But, like, some of the stuff isn't, like, the most solid of punches. But, again, you don't need solid punches exactly to rack up points. But, you know, that's a good double jab, but it's mostly on the gloves. That's kind of what I mean. Like, most of it's all on the gloves or on the shoulders for the most part. But then right here, Pat rolls in. Hugo should not let Pat get this close at all. But Hugo, I guess, looking at it, Hugo covered up too much.
One thing Hugo has an advantage is
Yeah, so he probably couldn't see this move that Pat's about to do. Let's see what said. I remember that. No. Yeah. Let's see here.
he's been.
So Pat comes in super close, hits him in the kidney right there, and then right in the face. Those were that first shot probably didn't feel good, but not the worst out of the two of them. That one probably hurt a lot.
He has 5 fights in.
And see, he had to shake it off. Okay, Hugo moved off,
Patricio, he
delivered a
has
body shot to Pat.
Experience and Hugo's kind of
Okay,
taking advantage of
okay.
He knows the ins and outs
See, like,
of how to.
so Pat's got more back and forth in his stance, but he's kind of front-footed. Hugo's very front-footed. Like, his head is almost past his knee. Actually, no, his head is a little past his knee. And that lends a lot to bad balance. And I'll be real, training and boxing myself, I've always had a bad habit of this too. But that was actually part of my style and how I fought, which involved a lot of back movement and a lot of like rolling and kind of rope-a-dope stuff. And you can do that off this kind of stance, but Hugo's not doing enough of that for that to be a payoff.
Stay calm and composed, and I think.
And see, like when he has to go back, he has to push so much more off his front foot to go backwards, and so he's slow to get away.
There's a lot of pressure that Patricio has.
Look at that. Look how forward that is.
As it could either
I'll give him this though. It looks like Hugo's not on his back heel too much.
or it could come in his favor.
Yeah, exactly. You could tell right away that
Good body shot.
Hugo is.
Ooh, I think Pat was being nice there, because look at that.
Or it could come in his favor.
Yeah, exactly. You could tell.
He gets
right
hit with a body shot, and then Pat should have knocked the fuck out of him with a hook right here, but pulled back.
Keeping calm and keeping his composure.
But the reason why Pat probably pulled back, Hugo may have had a plan for that.
You can tell that he has that ring experience over Patricio, but Patricio, he's accepting a jab
Nah, it was a small slip in pronouns right there, wasn't it?
very well.
But they've done good so far. He corrected himself too.
Good combinations and dictating the pace. So he has to keep on doing what he's doing, landing some body shots, but making sure that he has his hands up at all times because Hugo's very dangerous.
Okay, round one is in the book. Let's send it upstairs to Naz. Naz, what do you got?
So I mean, like, Hugo's reaction to most things happening in that fight, I mean, with how Pat's playing the fight, his reactions make sense. Pat's scared him with that too, with his right hand. That right hand scares Pat. It scares Hugo in that fight after a certain point, because you can tell how he pulls away. Have I thought about getting my current model a mask accessory so the current issues aren't seen? Are you talking about the blinking issue? But and so people who are in who are new to chat, by the way, who are in right now, I am doing a bit of a boxing analysis for the first trans boxer in history, because I feel like this is a conversation that needs to be had. And we just went over Pat's first fight. This is the second fight here, which we won't watch the whole 20 minutes. And I'm just doing a kind of a play-by-play analysis, because the narrative that's forming now that Pat's won 3 fights and hasn't lost any fights, is that all of Pat's fights are people who are paid off, and are people who aren't considered real men because they lost to, quote unquote, a biological female. You know, and we know how fucking stupid that is. Because Pat landed some nasty punches on Hugo in that fight right there. Like, that one punch to the face, that would hurt a person, for real. So now, we're moving on to... Let me start some music up here. We're going to be moving on to... I think it's... what's it? Wei Yun, I think, is how you pronounce that. I'm not sure. Oddly enough... this here was uploaded by Fallon Fox, one of the a trans MMA fighter. She is currently retired because of medical problems. Fallon Fox was accused of brutally bashing in a woman's skull years after Fallon Fox had retired from MMA. And that is quite literally because they took an image from a completely different fight with a completely different opponent and then said that Fallon Fox did it. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, the mouth moving, the absolute minimum. Yeah. That's because it's reacting to... it's reacting to audio cues now instead of visual cues for the mouth opening. But like, And so let's go over Pat's second opponent. That is not Pat's second opponent. That was Hugo's last opponent. So, this fighter here, he's had 1 win, 3 losses. Marginally better record than Hugo to a degree. Well, I mean, I guess only two 2 losses off from when Hugo fought Pat. So you could argue not... You could argue maybe not, you know, the greatest opponent. Sure. And by the way, he was... No, he had the same... He was 1-2 when he fought Pat. So his record was even better when he fought Pat. And again, he won his first fight against somebody who'd never fought before. At least professionally. Lost his fight to someone who'd fought 5 times. And lost to Pat, who'd only fought once before professionally. And then lost again to a person who's had 5 fights, 0 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw. So he's skilled enough to take on somebody that hasn't fought before. Oh, Curie, are you talking about... Let's see. What, this one? I will be, like, kind of adding this outfit back to it. But I kind of was wanting, like, a heavy update to kind of make him more... To have a casual outfit. This is more of his battle outfit kind of idea. Here, we'll stick with this for a little bit. That way you get to see this one for a little while. But also no blinking, though, because it doesn't have the proper blinking blend shapes that this program needs. Anyway. Oh, shit, that's bright. Fuck. But at the same time, though, this fighter, it clearly isn't the greatest. That's probably... Honestly, this loss here, his last fight, probably his biggest loss, I'll be real. And that was only... that was actually only 10 days ago when that happened. Because, I mean, that's a pretty rough record to lose against right there. I'll be real. That's really not good. Like, he lost to somebody who's never won. Oh, he's 1-1 now, though. Good for him. He's 23. Oh, he's got time. He's got time, though. And he's 30? Okay, no. That makes sense. This dude here is pretty much getting to his like end of his usefulness as a boxer to a degree. That one was looking strangely enough like a Carl's cosplay of you. Oh, what? Yeah, so for a boxer, like 30's kind of old, you know, and so he started late too. So it makes sense that he's honestly gonna have trouble. Let me see, how old was this guy? 22. So he beat a younger guy in his first fight who'd never fought before, and then he fought someone roughly closer to his age and lost. This person has a split record. And then Patricio is pretty much is almost 7 years older. So again, I don't think this guy was paid to lose by any means. You know, I just think this guy was not that great. And people say, well, Patricio's picking fighters that he knows he can beat. Yeah. That's how it works. Like, they say that like that's not what everyone tries to do. How much sense does that fucking make? You know? And even then, I don't even think that's really fully the case. Because I think these guys are also taking the fight thinking that Patricio's going to be a fucking easy win. I literally think that's what's happening. I think these guys think they can use Pat as a stepping stone to improve their record, and they're wrong. Because I don't think they take the fight otherwise. Because let's be real, if we want to be really real, really real, Pat does not. Pat benefits from beating these guys. You know, as a boxer. And well, let's see at Patricio's ranking here. Actually, let me. Patricio Manuel box rec. All right. So I am. Why is there a rating of a half a star? Wait, what? Pat's been suspended till August? Wait. Oh, okay, I know why. Apparently Pat cut his eye in the fight, so when that happens, they put restrictions on you. Jillian and Jelena stream together. How would that be possible? How would it be possible? I mean, I could have VC face open, I suppose, too. No, I can't. There's probably a way. There's probably a way for me to get both models running at the same time, but I'm sure that would make my computer scream. But anyways, when you get hurt like that, and Pat probably needed stitches, is my guess. But I find it very funny though that Pat cut his eye from a headbutt, from an accidental headbutt, and in Pat's previous fight, his opponent got cut in the eye, in the exact same eye, from an accidental headbutt in the 4th round. Oh my goodness. But okay, so and so this guy hasn't fought at all when Pat fought him. And he still hasn't fought anyone else. He is almost 10 years younger than Pat. You know, but again, like, this guy probably took this fight thinking that Pat was gonna be a fucking, you know, a fucking W, a fucking easy W, and that's it. And that's just not the case. That just wasn't gonna be the case. I want to see you talking to yourself, pretending to have dialogue. Oh my goodness, that would be an interesting stream for sure. You know what? I could probably run one off of my laptop and one off the other, but I'd have to like freeze one in place in between talking, I guess. I mean, there's ways to make that work. It's just, is it worth it? And so, and then even then, this seems like Pat's most harrowing fight was his 3rd one, because I mean, his opponent did enough damage to cut his eye. It might have been from an accidental headbutt, but I mean, like, Pat had to struggle with that to get through the match to actually get the win. In this one, his opponent had to quit because he just couldn't continue. Like Pat stopped him. So I mean, this one here, Pat took an injury and kept fighting. Like that's admirable. That's so admirable, because that's it. Again, it's not hitting as hard as you can. It's what you do when you get hit. It's exactly that. Fucking bleeding from your left eye, and fight for 2 more rounds. Or was it just a 4-rounder? It might have just been a 4-rounder. And they fought his opponent weighed. Oh, Pat came in heavier, it looks like, I think. Yeah, Pat came in heavier on that one. So Pat had a slight advantage on that one. In the Hugo fight, Pat weighed less And in his second fight, he weighed more. So it's 125 to 130 is the weight range. So this is very legal. There's nothing wrong with this at all. Well, that half pound maybe, but if the fighters agree on it, then at that point, it's good to go. They had every opportunity to not to call that if that was a problem at all, and I feel like that wasn't a problem. And even then, you're usually still allowed within 5 pounds or so. Unless it's like, but that's more amateur though. I don't know if that applies to pro boxing. I've only been involved in like a very little pro boxing stuff. And so, let me see. Let's go back to this guy here. He's only had a few fights. He really hasn't had enough going on to really say if he's terrible or not. But I think more of what it is that he probably thought that Pat was going to be an easy win, and he wasn't. So let's take a look at the second fight a little bit. Only some parts of it. That was nasty. Right there, that was nasty. Like right off the bat. Boom! That's a strong punch. I don't care what the fuck you say. Coming from any person. Now I will say, Pat has a very large amateur career. Let me see if I can find. Let's see here. I can't find anything on. Oh, here we are. Amateur. Here we go. Amateur wise, and this is before transition, Pat has had 36 fights before this and has won more than half of them. You know, and even then, I mean, not exactly the most impressive record. But I also say that knowing that when you do amateur, that's when you want to lose. You want to lose in your amateur career. You don't want to lose in your pro career. That's when you want to try and keep that undefeated streak. You know, so, and let's take a look at our friend here. He has no amateur record, it looks like, as far as box rec is concerned. So this is all he's ever done. He took a pro fight with Pat, and he's only done two fights beforehand. Now, sure, he won one fight, but he's very inexperienced. He's very green. So the chances of him, I mean, he looks like he. And again, I guarantee you they took that fight thinking Pat was going to be easy.
Yeah, Pat's a very composed boxer. Right now I see Pat trying to...
See, like, he's very timid and worried. This is stuff you see in a beginner boxer in the amateur circuit. And again, this isn't to take away from Pat. Pat's doing exactly what he needs and is supposed to do. I feel like this, again, like I said, his promoter, and his coach probably thought Pat would be an easy W, and it just didn't happen that way.
There's another good right hand.
But this guy should have had. They should have put this guy in the amateurs first. But I guess he thought he was going to try and make money as a pro. I don't know. And he got paid for this. He did get paid for this. And I'm not saying he got paid to lose. No. When you take a match, there's a set amount of money involved already.
2 fights for you here on the Golden Boy YouTube page. Nothing around alongside Joseph Gonzalez, working our way towards the main event, which can be Joseph Diaz Jr. Emerson.
You know, like people, I think people have a misconception that when you box, you're boxing for money. Like money's on the line. But no, you're not. Like, once the match is set and stuff, like, there's money guaranteed to that boxer, regardless if they lose or not. You know, because, I mean, they are, like, this is a fucking risk for them. Like, they need to have some kind of compensation for this. Now, if it's like a tournament that's worth money and winning gets you money, then yeah, their win is dependent on them whether they're getting money or not. But that doesn't really happen all that often in America anymore. Oh shit, I'm tired. him and Pat got paid a set amount of money for this fight. That's just how it works. That is just how it is. You know, he gets... Now, you could say there's probably no incentive for him to do better if he's going to get a set amount of money. But if he wants to continue making more money boxing, he has to do good. Because the more you lose, the less offers you get to fight, and less people are going to willing to put up the money to let you fight. You know, somebody for a set amount of money. So, like, losing doesn't help you in this scenario. His goal, I guarantee you, is to beat Pat so he can get more money, you know, in the long run.
Hester, which will be on the zone later on. Pat Manuel, his grandmother, Patricia, is watching right now.
Shout out to Grandma Patricia.
Yeah,
Grandma Patricia!
for him. Pat grew up in the South Bay in Gardena, but it's also got Long Beach connection. Trained with Duarte boxing with Victor Valenzuela. And Pat has been waiting almost 4 years for this fight.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. There was a long wait between this fight and Pat's last fight in this. Because people keep trying to blacklist him. That's pretty much the case. So his first fight was in 2018. His second fight was this year. March of this year. You know, and thank goodness Pat got a third fight this year as well. Because, I mean, like I said, like Pat's like 37. The clock's winding down. If Pat wants to really start making some waves, he has to fight a lot. You know, and that's why it sucks that he's suspended until August because of that cut. But it is what it is.
Long layoff. I'm trying to see if Pat will be rusty. Right now, I don't see any rust. But that's what happens when you stay inside the gym.
Yep.
Nice hook right there.
Coach
Win, that's his name, okay.
Missouri just got dropped.
Ooh, wait, let's see that.
With his Coach Mike on his side from St.
Yeah, that was a clean shot. Oh.
Win with his Coach Mike on his side.
Damn! Oh! Here, let's slow that down. See, those two punches weren't really much of anything. That's because Pat's setting something up.
Win
Double jab.
with Coach Mike on his side.
Boom! That double jab is a distraction. He thought another jab was coming, but no, he hit him with the right hand. Now, I would say again, Pat is still doing the same thing with that right hand that drives me crazy. But it landed.
Win.
It's a strong punch. It's strong as hell. Like, any person throwing a punch like that, it's gonna hurt. But the only thing for me is that it's a very... like Pat should have done another double jab and set it up properly. But he probably saw the opening.
And
So, boom. Boom.
Coach Mike on his.
Oh, shit. One second. So, Win here, he tries to stick his jab out, and I think when he throws his jab, he drops his right hand.
On his side from St. Louis, Missouri, just got dropped. A solid shot by Pat Manuel. Drops weight here in the opening round. Jack Ray's telling him.
Yeah, he doesn't like this pressure at all.
Hear that body shot. Wayne is a gamer. He'll come after you.
Win is trying
Did you just say Win is a gamer? What?
to smother the punches right now.
Okay, blocked it that time.
Sitting down on the punch is looking good here.
See, Pat's kind of won at this point because this guy is running backwards.
Land the shot of his own right there.
Overhand right from Manuel. Less than a minute to go in the opening round. Inside the Walter Pyramid on the campus of Long Beach State.
Do a double jab, that right hand.
grew up in Long Beach so much that he
Nice.
has a
Ooh,
Long Beach
2 good body
tattoo
shots.
on
Headshot.
his
Ooh.
leg. He showed-
Let's slow it down a little bit.
He grew up in Long Beach.
Okay, you blocked that one,
so
actually.
much that
But
he has
looks
a
like he got hit with that
Long
one.
Beach tattoo
Boom. He got his hand up a little bit, but he mostly got hit with that one.
on his leg. He showed us that.
And I think he tries to rope-a-dope a little bit now once he gets a little back here.
His trainer, Victor Valenzuela.
Good roll. Good body shot there. He got Pat just a little bit underneath the armpit there. That's why I don't like Pat throwing this hook here, because look how off balance he is now.
The head
But he
baseball
recovers.
coach here at Long Beach State for the Dirbats. We're playing at UC San Diego. And in the first ever boxing event here
They headbutted. That's when the cut happened right there.
at Long Beach State, he gets to have this special moment for him.
Cut due to a headbutt.
And it happened right at that once. Like that
First ever
right,
boxing event.
right back up. They get real because like they're both kind of short, and this guy's trying to infight, but he's too leaned forward. Look how forward he's leaned, and then Pat throws that looping right hand, which I did not see that connect
Here at Long
earlier.
Beach
Wait,
Dirbats. We're playing at UC San Diego.
and then boom, yep, connected that,
And in the first
and then
playing at UC San Diego.
right there. And that just that can just happen when you box really close to each other. I've had it happen to me in sparring.
And in the first ever boxing event here at Long Beach State, he gets to have this special moment for him.
Cut due to a headbutt.
You know, so again, I think this guy and his team probably thought Pat would be an easy win. He's rusty. They may have even thought, quote unquote, he's a girl. And Pat proved him wrong. Like that's just how it is. That's what you get for underestimating somebody. Because I mean, if I just met Pat and made Pat mad, I would not want to fuck with this. Like he's because I will say this: Wen here is not exactly the most built-looking individual. Again, he looks like somebody who, like, I blame his trainers and his coaches for him losing so badly because they did not prepare this guy for this fight. They did not prepare this guy for this fight.
10 seconds ago in the opening round, Pat Manuel dropping his opponent Win, looking solid as he gets back into the ring for the first time in a few years.
And again, like Pat hasn't fought in a while, is older, you know, like that's how this goes. So now let's move on to Pat's third opponent, which I've not seen this one at all actually, and it's from a really bad angle. But let's take a look at his opponent's record here. Alright, well, we've already kind of looked at it. He's had 2 fights and 2 losses. Not exactly terrible for a pro boxer. It also looks like he doesn't have an amateur record as far as I can tell. Oh yeah, that's another thing I wanted to look up. Pat is currently ranked 104 out of almost 200 fighters. And is ranked 796 out of about 16,000 fighters in the world in his weight class. That's nothing to laugh at. Like that's pretty good. You know. And then you have these. Oh wait. Did this guy drop weight classes to fight Pat? It's looking like that. Or did Pat go up weight class? No, they did not go up weight class. So this dude dropped weight to fight Pat. Which that also can affect a fighter's performance on how intense the weight loss was. But you know, as expected for somebody who's had 2 fights and 2 losses, they're ranked pretty low in the world and national rankings, and that's to be expected. But I honestly feel like these fighters need Pat way more than Pat needs these fighters at this point. in a national in a ranking situation, anyways. Because like we don't even have the ranking for Hugo here, and this guy's actually ranked pretty decent in his weight class, which is supposedly featherweight. But I'm guessing he dropped weight to meet Pat on this one. And again, they probably needed Pat more than Pat needed them. Like it helps Pat in the long run because Pat just wants to fight. From what I can gather, Pat's a person who just wants to fight. End of story. They just want to box because that's something they love. You know, and it's like, why not? Why? Like, it makes perfect sense. You know, and so Pat probably doesn't exactly care who he fights all that much. He just wants to fight. You know, and that's just what it is. You know, like is that terrible? And like I said, like I feel like the people that have fought Pat would have benefited more from beating Pat than Pat beating them. And that's not even to say that, you know, Pat didn't enjoy the fights or want them, because I feel like Pat just wanted to fight. You know? So, I mean, like, if Pat is fine with, you know, making the statement that Pat makes, and just gets to enjoy the sport that he loves, you know, as long as the fight is more or less safe for both fighters at that point, you know, all comers invited, I'd say. I have no problem with that. So now, we're going to see the fight between Alex Gutierrez. Now again, very green. Doesn't seem to have an amateur background as far as we know. We're going to take a look at this fight. This is a rough angle to look at this at. Let's see here. Alright, let's go back a little bit. Alright, we can't hear any commentary from this one because this is not like an official video. It's just from someone on the fucking sidelines. Alright, not a bad shot from Pat. The guy's trying to stay active and throwing a jab out, but he seems unsure of himself. He does seem decently green. Pat needs to stop dropping his hand when he does a double jab. That right hand... Pat loves that right hand. I can't deny that it's a strong shot and it's very effective when it lands, but it's such a... To do it so often is such a bad idea, in my opinion. Alright, Pat got caught there. Oh, and by the way, that fight with Hugo, by the way, I know there's, in the other rounds, I do know that there are some instances where Pat gets hit with some pretty decently hard shots from Hugo at one point. I just don't want to sit through every round of this. This is not this is more of analysis of Pat and what he's trying to do in the world, rather than just watching a boxing match. All right, Pat loves that double jab in. Ooh, oh. Yeah, I don't think Pat was ready for that exchange, because I don't think any opponents Pat's fought in his pro career have exchanged like that so far. Well, no. Like I said earlier, there were some good punches in the Hugo fight that in later rounds, but you know, we don't see this early on from what we've seen the last couple times. Good attempt. Ooh, who got hit there? I wish they would have caught that better. I think Pat got hit there. I don't know. I can't tell who got hit there. I would say this guy seems more stable on his feet than the other ones, though he is a little forward there. He doesn't seem as leaned forward as the others. Pat, stop leading with a fucking hook. Ooh, Pat just pushed him a little bit. Okay. The guy kind of like looked at Pat like, all right. In boxing, sometimes you make weird choices and decisions in the heat of things. Ooh, that was good. Ooh, yeah, this guy's exchanging. He's not exactly afraid to throw a punch. Pat's right hand is strong as hell. Like, being real, you can just tell. This is definitely the roughest first round for Pat I've seen. It's not bad, but it's definitely Pat's definitely have to work a fair amount harder, in my opinion, on this one. Which, in all fairness, I mean, that's just how it goes in boxing, though. As you move up and up and up in rank, the fights get harder. Let's take a look again here. I am not able to really tell about the round. It looks like he won 2 rounds. I think it was a 6-round bout. Maybe it was 4. I don't know. Alright, that's the round right there. Let's take a look a little more here. Oh, they both came out strong on that one. Oh, they want to go. This dude isn't terrible by any means. The last 2 guys we saw, Hugo, I think he got scared too easily from how hard Pat hits. And then the second guy, his team did not prepare him for a fight properly. And they probably thought Pat was going to be a layup. This dude here, he wants to win. I can feel it out of him. Yeah, this is not an easy fight for Pat. This one, for someone of Pat's skill level, I think this is a genuine challenge. And this guy is way younger. No, he's 10 years younger almost. He is 8 years younger than Pat. Headbutt. Oh. Now see, good sportsman though. He called that he headbutted Pat. He told on himself, which headbutts happen. You know. So let's go take a look at that. See, like, so, boom, yeah. Now, he could be saying that Pat, like, was getting too close and headbutted, but I think Pat took most of the brunt. I think that's why he's calling it, because Pat may have got... No, it's only the 3rd round. It happens in the 4th round. I think he actually might be like, saying, like, hey, he's headbutting.
Oh.
I think that's what that was. Yeah, he was calling that he got headbutted. That's all that was. But again, though, like... When you fight that close, though, I mean, what do you expect? They're both fighting very close to each other. Ooh! Ooh, Pat's turning it up.
Dang, Patricio turned up the volume on it.
Yeah, for real. Ooh, he's got a quick left hand. And that wasn't like a strong punch, but that was a quick land though. Alright, rolled a couple times. Oh, okay. That didn't connect fully, but that definitely surprised Alexander here. Alexander? Yeah. Oh shit, we missed something. Fuck. Oh, Pat got nailed. Pat's got some strong neck muscles though, because you got to brace for that, and your neck muscles help you brace for that. Here, let's slow it down. I want to see this. I want to see this in 2.5 speed. So he came up. Oh. See, that's Now see, now let's do a quick analysis real quick. This is why I don't like that Pat throws that right hand so much. Because Pat tends to telegraph it. The last two guys just couldn't pick up on it. They just weren't good at picking up on it. This guy has seen it. He times it, rolls under. Not only is he getting out of the way of danger, he's using that momentum of rolling under the punch to build up more force for his punch. And so this punch he hits Pat with is pretty fucking strong. Boom. And to get hit with that and to keep going, that's tough. So that was good. That was good. I mean, like, Pat's ear might be ringing a tad bit. That's my guess. Sorry, I was checking to see if I had a message on my phone. Or his jaw probably hurts. Ooh, glanced off the side of his head on that one. Good body shot. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't hold his head down. Yeah, ref saw that. Ref saw that. This guy wants it. This guy wants it. He's not making this easy for Pat. This is the hardest fight I think I've seen for Pat. And if anyone's saying this guy was paid to lose this fight, is a fool. That was some good punches there. I mean, Pat's strong for real. Like I said, like lifting weights and stuff, that doesn't, you know, make your punches all that stronger, but it makes them faster to a degree. The faster you can throw your punches, the more powerful punches you can throw. Pat throws his entire ass behind his every single one of his punches so far, especially that right hand. Pat's throwing almost the whole goddamn 130 pounds at this guy's head. And vice versa for the other guy, too. Like, he's trying. And I'll say that guy, he thinks that right hand's coming. He's preparing for it. Oh, he timed it wrong. Because look. Pat kind of flinches a little bit and does a little double step. Boom. See, like that's usually the motion you'd see Pat throw that right hand. So he's about to try and roll it, and Pat hits him with a jab instead. And then that right hand comes. Ooh, wait, who got hit? That was fast. Ooh, that's hard to see. Wait, let's go back. You can look how red the side of his face is. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, I see what that is now. Honestly, that wasn't even a strong punch. What made that hurt so much, he went into it. That's just a jab. It's a step-in jab. But he literally jumped into it. So, like, you have Pat going forward and him going forward, and he ate that. Oh my God. I've been hit with that, and I've hit people with that. And yeah, that hurts. That hurts. I think his knees got a little weak, so he clenched on. Because Pat was going to go for the body. You can see right there. Boom! And then before he can go for the body, he moved in and grabbed Pat. Smart move. Very smart move by Alexander, because he didn't want to get hit again. Oh, that was sneaky. That was sneaky, though. Oh, Alexander went from a clinch to a quick shot to the face. That's a little dirty. He saw it open though. You can see him. You can see him. He's like, I see it. I see it. Oh, his head's right there. Boom. I mean, ref had no problem with that though, so he let it fly. I think that was a little dirty in my opinion, but at the same time, it was there. You know, you can't exactly argue with it. Even if the referee did call something on it, it still wouldn't have cost him any points or anything. You can do something bad twice before it starts causing you points. Like hitting someone in the nuts twice might be a point in boxing. So you know it's not exactly uncommon for some fighters to like hit a guy in the nuts once. You know, so I mean, so refereeing, like, so if you want to do something a little dirty, you know, like clinching and then punching from that clinch position, when the referee probably would normally break the fighters apart, you know, it's actually not that big a deal, and probably not even that egregious as hitting someone in the nuts like that. But I say that like he did that though, but no, that's not what happened. It's a different situation. Like it's equivalent in how the points would be deducted, but not in severity of damage. Back of the head. Yeah, I saw that. Pat him in the back of the head a little bit. Referee didn't give a fuck, though, did he? But at the same time, the referee didn't give a fuck about that quick shot either. Okay, some lighter shots here. That was an okay body shot. Come on, stop with the right hand. If you do that straight, it would have landed. Oh, you gonna go for Philly shell? No. You ain't no fucking Mayweather, bro. It's your second fight. Oh! Jesus. Let's go back. So he's trying to do a Philly shell, where you keep the left hand down. He's too inexperienced to do this effectively. All you need is a looping right hand to get over the shoulder to hit him. And what has Pat been throwing this whole fucking fight? A looping right hand. It's like begging for him to get hit. So he tries to hit Pat. Boom. Let's go back and look at it again real quick. See? So Pat does a hook, right there. That was a good one. That had to hurt. We might sit through this entire fight here. What the fuck? Wait, okay, what did we just walk in on? Wait. Alright, fight start. I think this guy's hurt now. I think he's genuinely hurt and he's tired. Because that last punch was not good. That was not good to get hit by. He's moving a lot more now. He's trying to stay at least a little bit away from Pat. Because Pat's setting down on that power. Pat's trying to knock him out. Like, I'm no joke. I can tell that's what Pat's trying to do now. And you can say, it's boxing, of course what you're trying to do. Not all fighters go for a knockout. Sometimes they benefit by going for points. Is his face bleeding? Or is it blood from Pat's head or something? Ooh, Jesus. Some good body shots. Okay, no, he's not bleeding. Okay. Pat's trying to split that guard. I mean, Pat is kind of walking him down, like he's clenching because he needs to try and gain some kind of advantage. I think he realizes he's actually outmatched, and I think what it is that he had to drop a lot of weight to get to fucking Pat's weight here, and it's probably affecting his strength. I'll be real, like his physical ability to keep doing this the way he should be able to, and that happens when a fighter has to drop weight like that. So I'm pretty sure Alexander's supposed to be a lightweight. Yeah, he's a lightweight, and he dropped down to super featherweight. I'm pretty sure. It's lightweight weight class limit. Yeah, he had to drop like a whole fucking 20 pounds. Well, no, like 25 pounds. What did he go into the fight as? Does it say? 29. 129. So he was lightweight before. He had to drop 10 pounds. He had to drop 10 pounds. And so, I mean, like Pat walks around at super featherweight. Make sure I'm looking at this right. Actually, wait, no. I think Pat, when Pat first started, I think was a super featherweight. I don't think they keep track with people changing weight classes very well. Well, no, you know what? We're not even going to worry about it at this point. This is making it hard to understand. But regardless, though, he had to drop some kind of weight to fight Pat. Pat's lighter. But Pat looks ripped as fuck, let's be real. Oh, I saw that. I looked away for a second. Boom, boom. Boom. Guard split right here. Yep. Now this guy's doing exactly what he's supposed to do to a degree, like jab. Keep your jab hand out there, protect yourself. You know, keep it going. You know, you gotta be safe. You know, almost got back into a corner, but he moved out of the way in time. Ooh, a little low. Ooh, what was that? Oh, I think he missed that, actually. I think Pat hit him. Wait. So he tries to set up this kind of slick, like kind of angled jab here, angled uppercut, which is sneaky. It looked really good. But he overshot it. He thought Pat was going to come closer than he did. Oh, right in the jaw. That dude's gonna have trouble eating later. Damn, that was a good punch. Pat timed that crazy well. He got touched real good at some point. Now he's worried. That happens. I think his nose might be hurt. Ooh, damn, those are strong. Ooh. Like, he can't play this close-up game with Pat. He can't. I think we get the idea, really. Like, this here was a rough fight. Like Pat had to really fight hard for this one. But once we got to the third round, I think this guy realized that he was hurt and that he was losing. I think that's what ends up happening here. And he's trying, but he just can't get it back. You know, I'm actually very impressed. Out of the other two fights, I'll be real. The other two fighters, I would say, they're just... Like, I think they just wanted a win real bad, so that's why they took the fight, and they thought Pat would be a win. This guy here, maybe roughly the same situation, like he just wanted a win, but like his trainers trained him. He was in good shape. He was trying his damnedest, I'd say, to beat Pat the whole time. It's only his second fight. This guy is not bad for just 2 fights, even if he has 2 losses. I've seen way worse fighters, and this guy could easily come back from 2 losses and actually start getting more wins if he keeps it up. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, that is something that I think is... I'd say this guy is actually a genuinely decent boxer. You know, and I'm not even saying these guys aren't exactly decent either. I felt like he was unprepared by his team, and I mean, you could probably say the same about this gentleman here, but also the gap in time between 2009 and 2017 from his first fight. I mean, that probably didn't help him either. You know, he may have kept up with boxing, maybe, or I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe he changed gyms. Maybe we don't know. We don't know. But these 2 fighters here, I think we're hoping for an easy win. I think that's the whole thing here. And then here, I think Alexander may have been wanting an easy win, but knew that it wasn't going to be an easy fight. I think he went into this seriously expecting Pat to be an actual challenge. And keep in mind, he would have benefited, in my opinion, a fair amount, ranking-wise, if he had beat Pat. A fair amount. You know, I think he really wanted it. I think he really, really wanted it and understood it wasn't going to be an easy fight, whereas these 2 thought that it was just going to be an easy fight, easy win. And they just came in unprepared. 100%. This guy here wanted it. I can say that for sure. Because, I mean, this guy was trying his damnedest to land punches on Pat. Like, so hard. And he threw some good ones and landed some good ones, like, for real. And exchanged. But at that 3rd round, I think he was tired. And I think he knew he had to stay away from that right hand. You know, and that's just... This is how it is. Oh, excuse me. You know, and so for people to be like, oh, well, this trans boxer has to be paying people off or is choosing weak opponents. To I guess to fake the fact that a trans man boxer can actually fight, you know, non-trans men. I don't know. I don't have that level of brain brokenness to make that leap, in my opinion. And especially after watching that 3rd fight, that person, in my opinion, 100% was trying to beat Pat. Like with as much as he could. Like, he put in the effort. And he's in good shape, too. He had to drop some serious weight to get to Pat's weight class, though. And that probably was the biggest detriment there to him. Because he probably lacked the power he usually has. And had to deal with someone, because I think Pat actually had more weight than him. By the time they actually fought, by like 1.5 pounds. You know, and so he actually was fighting someone who had more power, basically, weight and physics-wise. You know, but and here, let me bring you guys over here real quick while I look up something really, really fast. So I just want to show you the weird, the weird cope of all of this. Okay, we bring you guys back over to browser adventures here. Okay, and we're gonna go back to this here. And let me see here. Let me find. if you can look at Pat, who is clearly in shape, and honestly, when he fights, even more in shape than this, and you have to cope with the fact that Pat has beat 3 people that you claim is impossible for him to beat, that you have to do stupid shit like this, like, this is one of the dumbest things. Like, this is such brain rot I have ever seen in my life, to where this makes sense. You look at this and be like, oh, that needs a censor bar. Like, oh my god. That's something else right there. I don't really know what that is, but it's something. You know, but good on you, Pat. I'm by no means an expert level boxing coach at all. But from my quick analysis of your 3 matches, I only did the first round of the first 2 matches. You did great. You did what you're supposed to do. There are things personally as a coach I would say you need to work on, and not even in a bad way. Like, your leagues ahead of most people, of course. Again, you're probably familiar with the fact that a coach can nitpick fucking anything. You know, even if you're doing everything, even though you believe you're doing everything perfect, and you probably are, we gotta find something. You know, the looping right hand drives me crazy a little bit, because I think you could set that up better. But it's strong, and when it hits, it really messes people up. I can tell you that much right now. That there is impressive. And stop dropping your left hand when you throw that right hand. And don't step on your heel so much. Those are the 3 things that I've gleaned from this. And in this fight, you definitely don't do those as much. So I'm assuming your coach is telling you more or less, you know, what you need to fix each time you do a fight. And that's what a coach is supposed to do. So, I mean, what do I really have to critique at that point, you know? And in this fight here, you really gave it your all, and so did your opponent. Like, if people can look at this fight and just be like, oh, that guy was paid to lose, they're brain broken. I don't know. I don't really know what to tell them at that point. You know, I've seen people really not give it their all. You know, and I would say that even in those 2 other fights, those guys gave it their all. I just think they were expecting it to be easier, and it wasn't. You know, and so, good on you, Pat, for real. You're doing great work out there. Keep pushing those norms, because, I mean, like, you existing makes it easier for some of us to defend others who want to do what you do. I quite literally quit my job at the gym partially because of one of our fighters being trans and being banned from sparring once the head coach found out. I couldn't stay in a place that does that to somebody. I still keep in touch with the kid. I don't want him to give up. I'm trying my best to figure out ways to make this work for him still. But the hardest part about it, though, is that we live in a place that bans gender-affirming care now. There is a lawsuit pending currently, which actually pushed the mandate for that ban until the 29th, which is a couple days from now. But it was the 9th before that. But hopefully they can get that injunction extended, and maybe maybe that kid can still keep getting what he needs to transition properly as a teenager. You know, it's disgusting what's going on here. That being said, though, that aside, I was looking up some stuff about the ban in the state, and came across a ruling in Arkansas, or Arkansas as we don't like to call it, and a federal court has, I think it's indefinitely suspended that law in Arkansas that bans gender affirming care indefinitely, and that's great. Now, of course, they can appeal and go to another court, and if that doesn't work out for them, they can appeal and go to the Supreme Court. We'll see how that goes. Which, I mean, they're going to appeal, like, we know that. So for now, that's a win somewhere at least. And if that gets held up, like that, if that actually gets held in the eyes of the court as something that is that needs to be done, that can be used to help further that along for other states, so they can stop this ridiculousness. You know. Well, this was a different kind of stream, guys. It has been 2.5 hours, actually. I did not think I would actually keep going on for 2.5 hours doing this right now. I really didn't. We're going to go back to my cockpit here. Here we go. Hello. Anyway, this is a different stream. It's not something I plan on doing often. I just had feelings about it. It's Pride Month, and Pat won his third fight 2 weeks ago, and I just happened to see people trying to discredit Pat for being who he is, and I found that to be ridiculous. And I have some expertise in that field, and I wanted to do what I could to set people straight, even though I'm sure most people who don't like Pat will not care. But I think it's good for people who are part of that community to also know about Pat and the things that he's done and the merit of those things that he has done, because they're always going to say that you are not good enough or you're cheating when you participate in any sport as a trans person, and that's wrong. That's just wrong. It's just wrong. Objectively, it is wrong. You can't say the phrase, "Oh, I am in support of what anyone wants to do with their own lives and bodies and stuff," but then go, "But," and then say some shit that's absolutely ridiculous. And that's what always happens. And we gotta remember, and we gotta remind ourselves sometimes, because we get told the opposite so often, that they're wrong. They are wrong. And that boxer at our gym could be someone special in boxing if he was allowed to compete the way that he wants. And I mean that. I 100% mean that. And that's why it hurt me so much that he had to go through all this, because the head coach just can't see a way forward. He worries about personal image and how he's perceived more than more so than how can I put it? Well, then the worries and the troubles of his boxers and their lives. That's the long and short of it. That's just how it is. You know, as much as you can pretend that you're there for people and you support these people, but you're not willing to actually go out of your way to support them because it goes outside of your comfort zone, you have failed as a coach at that point. That's just how I see it. Because a coach is more than just teaching someone how to do a thing. You're a part of their lives. You can help guide them in a direction. You're a person that they trust and they want you to help them when they need help with something. And what I mean by that is, you know, these kids come to us with their problems, their home lives, their you know, problems with their parents, problems at school, you know, problems with people at the gym, you know, things like that. And I've had to field some problems as a coach that I didn't think I'd have to. I don't have kids. I don't know if I ever plan on having kids, but to an extent, I had to play like kind of a father figure sometimes when these kids had to tell me something that was bothering them and they needed it addressed. That's just the long and short of it. And that's the role you play as a coach. It's someone they trust and someone they need on their side. You know, and if you're not going to be on their side because they are different from you or don't believe what you believe or they believe something you don't agree with, well, I mean, that's just the entire human race at that point. Everyone believes or disagrees with something with someone in the world at all times. You can never please everybody, and no one's going to agree on everything all at the same time. And as a coach, you have to be there for them regardless of that. Simple. Simple as that. Sorry if I got a little heated there. It's one of the main reasons why I quit. And I want to try and make it right, and I want to make it better. And our fighter that had to go through that shouldn't have had to go through that, and I regret that every day. And I still keep in contact with him because I don't want him to think that I just abandoned him in the situation. I you know, that bothers me to a degree, even now. You know, and even if our boxer, if he were to compete as the gender he was assigned as at birth, he probably could do some amazing stuff in that, you know, that area of boxing, you know, and be very impressive. But in my opinion, as a person who helped train the same fighter, could still be very impressive in the men's boxing division. I know it's a crazy thing to say, apparently, but like that kid's very talented, knows how to throw all of his body weight behind a punch, you know, has sparred guys, you know, other guys and stuff. But that was another thing that got me, was that Eli, even he was banned from sparring after he was found out, and the head coach told me, quote unquote, this is me quoting coach, "I will never let a girl spar another guy." And then literally the next day had one of our 12-year-old girls from one of our mentor groups that came to the gym and put her in the ring with this one boy the next day. And this girl was not prepared to spar this kid at all, and got hurt because the head coach did not prepare her for this. But Eli, I keep saying the fucking. But our transgender boxer cannot spar another guy, even though he's been doing it for a year, and wants to, you know, and trains so often and so much, and is in great shape. But you just throw in a young girl who wasn't even ready for it and got hurt because of it. You know, not because, in my opinion, not because she was a girl either, by the way, but because she wasn't prepared for it. And she did not come back to the gym for 3 months after that. And even then, when she did come back, which wasn't too long ago, to be honest, which I'm not at the gym, so it's been even longer now, still kind of on the fence about all of it because of how that went down. You know, she was quite literally thrown to the wolves. But someone who wants to do it, though, but just because they're trans, cannot do it, it's bullshit. Absolutely bullshit. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I cannot support that anymore. So you guys have listened to me rant now for a while, but this was a different kind of stream. I appreciate anyone who stayed and watched for as long as they could. It was something that was on my mind. It's something I wanted to talk about, and something I wanted to, I wouldn't say disprove exactly, but I wanted to provide a proper context about how boxing actually works. And what you decide from there, I guess, is your own opinion, because everyone's entitled to them. But in my opinion, the whole argument behind why it's impossible for Pat to do what he does is absolutely ridiculous and null and void. And Pat gets by on his own merits, and that's the long and short of it. So, with that being said, I will see you guys on the other side. Thank you guys for listening to me rant and talk, and you guys have a great day. Bye. Oh, wait. Yeah, bye. I was going to say let's raid, but it's probably just me in chat now. I don't know.